Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. We have two. Get this chair straight. Oh, the chair. Hold on a second, folks. Couldn't get the office chair straight. All right, we have live. We have two Canadian whiskeys. This is Harwood Canadian Canadian whiskey, a blend introduced in 1969. This is the modern Harwood. Now there was a previous Harwood back in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. This is the modern Harwood introduced in 1969. There you see the attractive label with the duck in the marshlands. The Canadian maple leaf, introduced in 1969 by Seagrams. And then they turned around 30 years later and sold it to Heaven Hill in 1989, and they still own it today. Yes, you can get glass bottles, but I only found this big plastic bottle. And so that's when you have one choice, then you go with the one choice you have. That's the choice I had. Simple story. 40% alcohol, age 3 years. This should be a good matchup. Harwood, says Ronnie. Yeah, Harwood. When it was in its original format, it was called Harwoods, apostrophe S, and it was from Vancouver, Canada. Now it's from somewhere in Canada. It's bottled in Kentucky by Heaven Hill. Okay. And I'll put the link below. It's on their website, well, at least the product specifications. Here's the purple, gold, and white caliber Canadian. Introduced in 2004. So it's only been on the market 20 years, 2004. Canadian whiskey, a blended Canadian whiskey with natural flavors. Bottled by IWA Distilling Company Limited, Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, well, yeah. We'll play along, IWA. But if you look at the Iowa Liquor Control Board store website, they'll tell you who really makes it. Mainly it's sold at Walmart, but it's not only sold at Walmart, because in fact, I bought this huge bottle at Rouse's. They had these bottles and they were 2 for $10. 2 for $10. Big, huge bottles, closeout. So I bought 2 bottles. Now, when the girl rang it up, she was ringing it up 2 for $5. I'm like, I said, why are you ringing that up for $2.50 a bottle? And she said, well, it's 2 for $10. And I said, well, that's $5 each. It's $10. Oh, and I'm thinking she doesn't understand what I'm saying, but I'm not going to cheat the store. I'm not going to cheat the store. You know, a lot of people got a criminal mindset and they'll say, well, they rang it up wrong. That's on them. Yeah, but it's really on you because you know you stole it. And if you have a conscience and you're not a psychopath, you would realize that that was not proper. You're getting it for $10, 2 huge bottles for $10. Why are you a thief? Okay. So yeah, of course I told her. I said it's that's not right. Now I had been to stores where it was clearly wrong. Now I was at Rouse's, another store, same place, Rouse's last year. Interesting story. First, we'll look at the appearance. Yeah, they're gold. I think the caliber is a little darker, but it's so minimal that it's basically the same. But yeah, the caliber is a shade darker. I mean, a half a shade darker. So I was at Rouse's last year, and I wanted to get this Founders Chocolate Cherry Stout. I think it was like 12%. So it was like $3.69 a bottle, and it was a 4-pack. So it was like, it was like $15.99 for the 4-pack. So I went to the counter, and and I want to get a single, but it didn't ring up correctly. And I said, no, it's not ringing up right. It's like $3.69 a bottle. And the lady was like, oh, our internet is down. We can't ring up anything with credit card or check. You have to pay with cash. I said, well, I'll pay with cash. I don't think I have enough. I said, I don't actually think I have enough cash on me, but I could, I could get it. But I was only, I really wasn't in that town. I was just passing through. I said, well, I just say, don't worry about it. Forget it. I don't care. I said, I'm not going to worry about it because it was like chaos in there without the internet, where they couldn't run credit card machine or anything. So then later that day, I had actually had extra time. And I was like, man, I'm going back over there. I'm going to check. So I went over there and they had the 4-packs, Founder's Chocolate Cherry Stout. So I went over there. I said, well, I'm going to get the 4-pack. So I'm going to pay with cash. I think it was a different lady ringing up. Okay. She said, it won't ring up. It's not in the system. Well, I said, it was on the shelf. And I said, I want to buy it, Oh, she said, wait, let me go see the manager. I said, oh, man, this has turned into like a fiasco. So she was over there. I saw about her customer service talking to the lady manager or assistant manager. Oh, yeah, they talking. Okay, so she comes back over there and she rings it up, $5.99. I said, well, that might be $5.99 a bottle, but it's really cheaper than that. I said, but it's not $5.99 a 4-pack. She said, well, I says, it's KBS. I says, KBS, but she didn't know what I was talking about. Obviously, she didn't know beer. I says, hold on a second. I can't believe this. Told the person I'm doing a live hangout. Should have put the phone on silent. Why didn't I do that? Let me put it on silent. So anyway, I told her it can't be $15.99 for a single bottle. I mean, $5.99 for a 4-pack. And she was like, don't worry about it, sir. I talked to the manager. She said, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. So I'll pay $5.99 plus tax for the KBS 4-pack chocolate cherry. I'm trying to tell the store this is not right. But they telling me don't worry about it. Okay, well, I'm not gonna worry. 2 handles for $10, great deal. Yeah, that was like the most incredible deal in the world. At Walmart right now, it's $13.99. Okay, that's still cheap as craziness, right? I mean, that's super cheap. But two for 10, who's not gonna buy that? Well, a lot of people would never buy it, But 4 packs of the KBS are $19.99. The Total Wine here. Oh, really, Tab? Oh, $16.99. Oh, that sounds a little bit better. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Will I be able to tell these apart? I think so, because this says whiskey with natural flavors, which Canadian whiskey is allowed to have natural flavors. Can't go above a certain percentage, like 9.09%, but it's allowed. So hey, that's allowed. Sazerac, they're pretty good about putting about indicating that. Harwood doesn't say anything about natural flavors. It just says Canadian whiskey, a blend. And I'll tell you, Heaven Hill is pretty good about that. If they add flavoring, they'll just say whiskey with flavoring. They'll say it. They don't care. So if that's their pattern, we would have to assume that. I mean, I'm going to assume if it doesn't say it has flavoring, then I'm going to assume it doesn't have it. I mean, what else can I think? All right, Mr. R says, evening. Evening to you. But now, like Diageo, I don't know what their policy is. So could Crown Royal have flavoring? Crown Royal could have it. I don't. It doesn't taste like it has it, but it could. Craft Beer Tastic says, "Hey, I never feel guilty when I score a crazy good deal on stuff now and then. It helps make up for all the other times I overpaid." Well, this was straightforward. It was two for $10. Set it on the tag, two for $10. So I went and rang it up, and like I said, the girl got confused and rang it up two for $5. So that would have been cheating. I had to tell her, no, it's two for 10. So I got it for two of these for $10. Well, I still got another one in the closet, never been opened. Well, I mean, it's going to take me years to go through this. I've been resting. I've been taste challenging this for at least a year. So I'll be old in the assisted living before I finish the second bottle. Okay. It's got a crown for King Charles III, I guess. Queen Elizabeth II originally. 2 Canadian maple leaves, because every Canadian whiskey got maple leaves all over the bottle, like they wear that out, And it says premium Canadian whiskey. Premium, because there is no such thing that's not premium. All right. I agree, Crappertastic. If that's how they want to manage the stores, so be it. Yeah, well, like I said, with the KBS, I'm sitting there telling them it's wrong, and they're telling me don't worry about it. So, of course, I didn't worry about it. And then my friend David was hearing about that price, and he went over there, and they decided it was $9.99 for the 4-pack. Still $6 too cheap, but he bought it. Still cheap. But I mean, it was like chaos that day when they're, if you're all hooked into the internet, fine. If all your credit card, check cashing, pricing is based on that, that's fine. But if it crashes, you got a real problem. And that store had a real problem. Normally everything's smooth, you check out fast and everything's quiet. But that particular day was craziness. All right. I was eating potato chips earlier and one fell and just noticed it. Okay. Jalapeno flavor. Good chip. Kettle, the kettle fried. You see, I noticed it was the Harwood because it's that straightforward grain, corn, rye, and barley, maybe wheat, probably not. And this one is the same, but it's got this smell. And you don't know what it is, but it's not normal. It's like almond extract, but it's a good aroma. I like the aroma. I like the smell of it, but it lets you know that it's got to have the taste, the flavoring added of whatever that natural flavoring is. And I get into conflicts with people, and I'm always good natured about it. Some people are really hostile. They got a chip on their shoulder, like looking for an argument. And they like hot out the closet talking about natural flavoring is not natural. It's artificial. And I'm like, well, why do you think they have two different classes of flavoring, artificial and natural? Did you ever read the Food and Drug Administration's article on that? And then they go off on some like screaming, hollering, telling me I work for the government and all this. I was like, I don't work for the government. It's like you coming at me cold. You never did the research, and you're talking about natural flavoring is artificial, and you don't know what you're talking about. There's a clear distinction between those two classes of flavoring. But anyway, enough of that. I don't even need to entertain that. Sweet corn, yeah, sweet corn. Wood, yeah. Oak. Sugar, like most whiskey tastes like to me, like sugar water. Vanilla, I guess you could say. Honeysuckle nectar. It's so similar to bourbon. I mean, people are all in this like hysteria about Canadian whiskey and all of this craziness. It's like that. It's so much like bourbon, but it's just not aged. It's not typically aged in new charred oak barrels. They typically age Canadian whiskey in used barrels. But there's totally no prohibition that they can't put it in new charred oak barrels. They can do that anytime they want. In fact, Crown Royal Black is aged in charred oak barrels. That's why it's dark. That's why it really tastes like bourbon. Um, and it's 90%, 90 proof, sorry, 45%. So, and then you got some people that really go out on a limb to make themselves look silly. And it works because they do make themselves look silly. And they'll say Canadian whiskey is brown vodka. Well, you hope that the person is joking when they say that, because if you really believe that, you are woefully ignorant about what whiskey is, how it's made, and what it does. So there's no vodka in any of these products. All right. And in fact, there's no grain neutral spirits in any of these products. These are 100% whiskey. Okay. Canadian whiskey by law must be aged at least 3 years. All the whiskeys have to be aged at least 3 years in oak. Doesn't have to be new oak. That could be longer than 3, obviously. Are all Canadian whiskeys blended? No, they certainly aren't. They have single malt whiskeys in Canada, all malt whiskey, but they tend to be. They tend to be blended. That's their tradition up there. You see, like Claude was saying last night, most whiskey bourbons just get the burn, but not much flavor. I don't know. I mean, I got so many bourbons that got so many different intricate flavors, though. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't want to comment on that because I'm not understanding that quote quite. But okay, caliber. Got it. Is caliber better or worse than Harwood? I would say Harwood is better because it's got a more authentic, like traditional whiskey flavor. It's not exactly Jack Daniels or Jim Beam because those are Kentucky and Tennessee and Kentucky bourbons, but how would I describe it? It's sort of like a bourbon for people that don't like the smoky, charred note in bourbon. But I like that, but some people don't. All right, so yeah, smooth, easygoing, medium bodied, dry, mostly dry finish, drinkable. Look how much I've gone. Pleasant and obscure to say the least. But there it was on the shelf, and I kept seeing it, and I finally bought it, and I'm glad I did. I think it's a really fabulous product. You just don't think, oh no, no, not 14.99. You just think 14.99 for this big bottle. There's no way it could be fabulous. Maybe you could choke it down without puking, but to say it's quality, you're a fool, a dummy, a moron, a nitwit to say that. Well, I don't believe I am, and I think it is really good. I looked up the video reviews for it on the internet. That took about 5 minutes to watch. That's how obscure it is. There's no written reviews. It's been around, but it's nothing, it's like nothing on it. Burley Sullivan says, same to you, Burley. So I like it. I mean, I really like it. Would I buy it over Crown Royal every day, all day? Every day and all day, I would buy it over Crown Royal. Why? Because it has a better looking bottle? No. Crown Royal's got that pretty molded glass bottle. It's sharp looking, you understand. This has just got a little plain screw cap. It's just basic, but it's a nice label with the duck, the pen and ink duck drawing. I love that. But it just tastes as good. Now I know Crown Royal uses 50 different whiskeys. That's true. They say on their website we use 50 different whiskeys in the blend and all of this. And I like Crown Royal, and I'm not a Crown Royal hater, and I don't go around dogging on Crown Royal. I have been enjoying my bottle. I really can't think of anything negative to say about it. It's a little bland, but that's by design. You know, it's a mixer, Pent Ultimate mixing North American whiskey, and that's probably why it's the best-selling whiskey in America of any type. But I think it's really good. Now, this one here is just as good, and it might even be. It's not really better, but it. You know what I mean? Like there's some quality about it that. Something like you can't figure out what it is, but you know it's there and it's really good. So good job, Heaven Hill, or whoever made it for you, Heaven Hill. Yeah, cheers, says Wayne. Wings and Pizza says, what I'm trying to communicate is the burn I get. Okay. What I'm trying to communicate is the burn I get makes the flavors take a back seat. I'm just thinking my palate is not there yet. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. It could be an acquired taste, but it may be a taste that you never acquire, you know, like you just never like it. And that's fine too, because everybody is not under this law. Because, you know, whiskey tasting is almost like a dictatorial authoritarian system where they just demand you like certain things. And if you don't like it, you are an unapproved person. You need to go away. Like if you say, well, I don't really like hot barrel proof whiskeys. They're so strong, barrel proof, 118%, or I'm sorry, 118 proof, 137 proof. Oh, I can't stand. They'll say, I guess you can't be part of our group anymore. Because all real whiskey drinkers love barrel proof. So obviously you are very far below us. Okay, Caliber. You can buy it in Iowa. You can buy it in Louisiana. You can buy it in, where was that other state? Virginia, Illinois, Hollywood, California. No, Beverly Hills, California, of all places. It's around. I'm not gonna say it's common, but it's around. You know, I like its nutty flavor, like John and Neely would say, almond extract. I would say more like vanilla almond, but whatever it is, it's nice. I like those flavors. I like the cheapest price in a world price for it, but it doesn't match up against Harwood. Sorry, Caliber. It's good, but it doesn't meet Harwood. Okay, good evening, Ron, says B Aviation. All right, good evening, everybody. Now let me go call David back. He was calling me about a peach wheat, and he said, don't buy it. It's not that good. So I got to go find out about this peach wheat. Curious now. All right, y'all take care. So the winner is Harwood, and it'll be back tomorrow doing battle against another Canadian blended whiskey.